Good morning. I'm joined today by Mark Thornley of High Peak Steels. Mark, good morning. Nice to see you again.
And you, Jonathan, how are you doing?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. We said we'd talk about another steel grade today, and we're going to focus on the specific engineering grade S355. And Mark, I'm looking forward to our conversation where you're going to tell me lots about this. So what is S35 and why is it one of the most popular searched grades on Google today?
Okay, it's well, S355. It's a structural steel. It conforms to the EN 10025 European standard. It superseded the old BS 4360 range that was in the 90s in the UK. We're seeing more and more influence from Europe now, and more people asking us to, have materials that are in the European grades and standards. So the S in S355 stands for the fact that it's a structural steel. The 355 is for the yield strength. So that depicts what yield strength that material is. It's become more popular because of its versatility, its strength, its weldability, and its impact resistance in its sort of raw state. So it's mass produced nowadays in Europe and the UK, and has many applications. And obviously it's a great value as well.
Now, Mark, just before I go on, you're engineering specialists, steel specialists, and yet you're talking about a structural steel. Before we move on, why so? Why would you stock that then? Because you're not doing engineering bar, are you? Sorry, you're not doing structural bar, you're doing engineering bar.
Yeah, I think, more and more people have refined that particular grade. And more and more people are asking for it, and it can be used, for heavy machine engineering products. So, with it becoming more and more popular, a lot of steel stockholders are stocking S355 instead of, other grades like EM14 or, more commonly used mild steel.
Right, and that would have been a grade that you would have traditionally had, and now you've
Yes.
moved over because of the popularity, from what you're telling me.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more sort of requests, or people looking at our website or requests on email for S355 grades. The drawings are coming to the UK manufacturers, and they've got S355 on them instead of the old EN number series. So.
Okay, so they're going to the dare I say, a quick plug, highpeaksteels.com website to find that product. Can you tell me?
I can find everything on there, mate. Everything they need to know about it.
I'm sure they can. What do steel producing mills manufacture then with S355?
So commonly, because it's a structural steel initially, they would make I-beams and columns and hollow section, angles, flats, which are mainly used in obviously structural sort of applications.
And none of this is your stuff at all. Yeah.
But more recently, obviously, it's been manufactured, because of it offering greater refined structure, and gives good mechanical properties. We've found that more larger sizes are being produced, so it's good for engineering, machining components.
Right, interestingly, which I was going to ask you actually about the most popular industry and application for that grade. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Sure. How long have you got? Here we go. So and like I say, mainly the building industry. So your structural frames for buildings, they'll use the beams and the columns for that. They'll use it for bridges, for big components like the girders and the bridges. They'll use it for your highway bridges, pedestrian bridges, things like that. It'll be used for offshore structures. You look at an offshore oil rig. A lot of the steel that's gone into that would have probably been, S355 or, something, a comparable spec in the old days. But now S355's got good quality, so they tend to use that for that. For what we're finding, which is great for us, big heavy machining equipment. So you've got your likes of, your agricultural equipment, your mining equipment, your materials handling equipment. People are machining components now from S355. It still goes in the automotive industry. Again, they have used it in the past for like roll cages and things like that within vehicles. But people are using it now for trucks, trailers, and agricultural vehicles and off-road vehicles as well. But we're finding that more and more people now are asking it for to replace other grades because it's good quality.
So the yellow goods market is a real popular one for the use of this material. The JCBs of this world would be a ideal sort of user of the product.
Yeah, they would be, again, for the structure of the arms and the body of the JCB. Definitely. I mean, we see there's an awful lot of railway tracks now made out of that particular grade. You've got your train components, you've got the frame of the trains as well, that's made out of, again, because it comes in sheet and plate form. So they'll make it for that. Pipelines, again, major sort of tube stroke pipelines will be made out of steel products, and that'll be S355 nowadays. Mining and quarry, the big buckets, that make up the diggers, or or the shovels on big diggers. The main structure that we made up out of the plate side, out of S355, but also there'll be other components that go into that, because it's got a decent yield strength and tensile strength. So they use it in all different applications. Structural fabrication, for instance, people are fabbing, they'll use it for for welding. It's got good weldability, so they'll be using it for plates and tanks, as in storage tanks, those sort of things. But like I say, great for us now. Excuse me, because they use it for they're asking for more and more round bar, so we're able to sell it to make these engineered machine components.
Gosh, so it's really very, very diverse. I mean, you're talking there about offshore oil and gas through to off highway, and then into more fine areas such as automotive, which obviously they're making more precision components. So very diverse grade. I mean, I'm almost wondering whether you need to stock anything else, Mark. I'm sure you'll tell me in other workshop sessions that we have that there are plenty of other requirements for other materials.
Sure. I mean, obviously, there's a limitation as to how tough it really is compared to some alloy steels. But as a general purpose grade, it's sort of replacing mild steel as we know it, or EM14A, which is we're commonly used in engineering type applications or machining applications. S35 replace that, but it still can only go to a certain tensile strength and it's only got a certain yield strength. So there's only so much you can do with that. But from a general purpose application and a mass produced product, it's really good for for those areas.
I'm going to ask you a quick side question here, because we were talking last time about EN8. So give me a quick compare and contrast with EN8.
So EN8, your 40 to 50 carbon material. S355 is like a 20 carbon, so it's more in line with your mild steels in that way. So there's EN8, you can get a higher tensile strength, so it's got more better wearability, whereas S355 is more a 20 tons tensile, which is like I say, mass produced. A lot of steel mills will probably produce thousands of tons of this. EN8 probably not as much, and again, it's not really used in for I-beams or for columns or for angles or anything like that. The structural side, it's more of an engineering bar grade, which will make more intricate components. Still good value, but people will use EN8 for getting a better tensile, getting a better hardness, getting a better yield strength, because it's got more carbon, more more things like that help it to become tougher for the finished application.
Right. Okay. And then we were then also talking previously at the beginning of our conversation about EN14A. So tell me a little bit about the differences between that and the S355, which was traditionally used for a lot of machine components, I believe.
Sure. So chemically, there's not a great difference between S355 and EM14A or even mild steel. It just has slightly more manganese in it than your run-of-the-mill EM3A, mild steel grades, 07M20. So it's got a 1.5% manganese content maximum, whereas mild steel was about 0.90% manganese content. So they same with the M14. What they've done is that's become less and less required nowadays. So companies, steel stockholders, are more concentrating on the fact that S355 is produced. You can get the same properties out of that as you used to get with the M14A. So it's sort of replaced it in a way, and people are using it more now instead of mild steel because they can get they've got a more varied range of sizes available to them because it's being mass produced more.
Fantastic. We call this session Ask the Experts, and we're talking about steel grades, Mark, and we're going to be doing many more of these videos. But I would encourage people, if they want to know more, to just inquire with High Peak Steels, because the knowledge that these guys have regarding the materials and particularly the applications for engineers, they're talking with hundreds of engineers on a weekly basis across their team, and that has given the business a huge wealth of experience in terms of just guiding and also getting feedback from engineers. So Mark, I think High Peak Steels is a real repository for that knowledge there, so it's really good to talk with you about this, which then takes me into the stock holding, because obviously as one of the leading Brighton black engineering steel stockholders in the UK, you have a superb racking, which I've seen down at your premises, and your additional storage that we've got throughout the UK. Can you tell me about the sizes and the shapes that you stock, and so customers know what's available?
Sure, no problem. So, like I say, we're more engineering steel bar specialists. So we tended to focus on round bar in S355. Like I say, it's become a lot more popular now. So we'll do from 10mm diameter up to 500mm diameter. We normally stock it in black bar, but we can always produce bright from it. We can always, get it bar peeled down to a bright size. It's like, with it being a structural steel, people have tended to, think of it as a black. It comes in a black condition, but we can do both. Like I say, 10mm to 500 diameter. But what we've done is we've seen that it's become more popular, so we're trying to expand our range and do more in beams and angles and flats and squares and hollow section as well. So it's a product that's we're looking to develop over the next sort of few years, and we do offer a plasma cut or laser cut profile a product as well, which we can do ourselves out of plate and sheet, so in that grade. So if you need anything, ask us.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, Mark, it's been a real pleasure learning a little bit more about S35 with you today. We're in the UK, it's December here, and we're going to be taking a Christmas break. So Mark, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your Christmas break, and we're going to be looking at a new grade in January. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you whether you've already decided what that might be, to give anyone watching a little bit of an idea.
Be surprised.
Okay.
Jonathan, you tell me I'm a wealth of knowledge. Obviously we'll be looking to sort of expand on what we've done already, just to see how much people can gain from us telling more about the information about steels and information, the grades, and we'll look to try and develop that throughout next year.
Super. Well, Mark, been a real pleasure. Have a great Christmas. We'll pick up in January. Thank you very much.
All the best, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye.